If you've missed the news, Bryce Underwood, a very highly touted quarterback prospect, had been committed to LSU. And he's from Michigan and flipped from LSU to Michigan about 2 weeks before signing day. And there's a lot of consternation, a lot of people up in arms because essentially Bryce Underwood took the money. And he got a massive NIL offer from Michigan that is reported as $12 million and said, sorry, LSU, I'm going to go to Michigan. And there are a lot of people worried that this is the start of a huge shift in college sports where academics don't matter, relationship with coaches don't matter. It's all about the money. And to that, I say, like, this is not the first time we've done this or been in this situation. This is a tale as old as time in college football of being committed, having great relationships somewhere else, and then at the last minute going, you know what, actually, I don't want to do that. Now, is the money different this time around? Absolutely. That's an astronomical amount of money. And part of the worry is because someone like Dave Portnoy, who is the founder of Barstool Sports, is on his podcast bragging, and he should be bragging, by the way, that he's kind of the reason why this all happened, that Larry Ellison, who's the fifth richest person in the world, his wife is a Michigan football fan, and his wife and Dave Portnoy got together and said, how much money can we throw at this kid to save our football team because their quarterback situation, not good. But this is not anything new. Like, Eric Dickerson took a gold Trans Am from Texas A&M and then went to SMU. And that is not a 2024 story. That's a, like, I don't know, was Ronald Reagan president yet when Eric Dickerson did that? So the idea that a high school kid changing his mind at the last minute is some gigantic cause for concern. It just feels a little disingenuous to me. Does it suck for LSU fans? Absolutely, 100%, because they had gone all in on Bryce Underwood being their quarterback of the future. They had recruited recruits kind of in conjunction with him. He was what they had hung their hat on. And it was part of the reason that Brian Kelly hadn't gotten a bunch of heat yet, was because, does this season suck? Yes. But there's light at the end of the tunnel because the number one 5-star all-world quarterback recruit chose us. We plucked him out of Big Ten territory, out of Michigan's backyard. And he's going to come to LSU. So you don't have to put any heat on Brian Kelly at that point. Now, he's not coming. And I don't know that you can put any heat on Brian Kelly, because who in the hell would say no to $12 million? Would you? If somebody offered you to do the exact same job you're doing right now, you get to stay closer to home, and by the way, we're going to pay you $12 million to do it. How do you say no to that? How can you? How do you? I don't think you do. I think you go, all right. There was, by all accounts, he had a lot of love for the LSU coaching staff, what LSU could offer him. And is he making a wrong decision? I have no idea. And I can't make that decision for him. I can't make that determination outside. Nobody can except for him. Because deciding your college, and I've mentioned this before, like, don't tweet at high school kids, all right? No matter how big of a fan you are, don't tweet at high school kids, because choosing your college affects a lot of things later on down your life. And probably Bryce Underwood has no idea what those things are. There's a decent chance, a really high chance, that he meets his future wife or lifelong partner or some semblance of partner at the University of Michigan or at LSU. There's a chance that he is either recruited and developed into an NFL quarterback at Michigan and maybe not at LSU. I understand the pushback from LSU fans who say, how do you look at this situation and say, Brian Kelly has put quarterback after quarterback into the first round of the NFL draft. Just won a Heisman Trophy and a first-round quarterback, a guy who is the front runner right now to win the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. How do you view that and say, you know what, I'm going to go to Michigan instead, where J.J. McCarthy, yes, is a first-round quarterback, but look at their quarterback room right now. And what has Sharon Moore shown you that makes you think that you are going to be developed to a first-round NFL caliber player or a Heisman Trophy caliber player in that program? I understand that argument. But when that's the argument versus, would you like $12 million? It just doesn't stack up, especially to an 18-year-old kid who has conceivably been told for the last 10 years of his life that he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's just not that hard to put together. But I don't think at the end of the day that this is where the sport is going overall. Bryce Underwood is the number one recruit. He's the top quarterback in the class. That is always going to command high dollar, high investment, high recruitment effort, all of the things that comes with being the best. And that's just one of the byproducts of the sport. The idea that guys are going to be making decisions based strictly on money and their chance of success is not anything new. Coaches do it every day. Coaches do it every week, every month, every year. Where can I make the most money? Where do I have the best chance of success? Brian Kelly did it. He had one of the best jobs in the sport at Notre Dame, but thought he had a higher chance of success at LSU and got higher dollars. I don't think that's something to hang your head at. And I've seen so much social media reaction to the video of Dave Portnoy saying, like, hey, I bought this kid. I brought him to Michigan in conjunction with Larry Ellison's wife. And she said, I don't want the credit. I don't need the credit. All I want is my football team to be good. There are lots of people around the country who do exactly that. Phil Knight at Oregon, T. Boone Pickens at Oklahoma State. There are mega boosters all over the map. And it hasn't led to college kids just strictly following the money yet. Now, obviously, the playing field is different than it has been in the past. Now it's just out in the open. And that's the one downside, I think, of NIL, the transfer portal, etc. We used to be able to not have to confront the fact that it was essentially free agency and that kids were getting paid. Like, do you mean Cam Newton, Cecil Newton, asked $180,000 from Mississippi State for Cam Newton to go there, but then he went to Auburn for free? I doubt it. I doubt it. So there's just this long line of like, hey, this has happened before, and it hasn't ever been a transformational moment for the sport. So I just think that we might just slightly be overreacting right now because Bryce Underwood is the top recruit in the country, because he's the top recruit in the country in the backyard of the team who just won a national championship and now stinks at the position he plays. Coupled with the fact that you have a booster who is a prominent figure, especially to younger people, willing to say, I will give $3 million a year to a Michigan quarterback to ensure that they are good. It's the perfect storm. And does it suck for LSU? 100%. But does it suck for the whole sport? I don't think so. I just don't think that's where we are. This is not the first time it's happened, and it's not going to be the last time it happens. But I don't think that we are at this spot where the sport is forever changed because Bryce Underwood took the money. I just don't think that's the case. Want to know your thoughts? Hit us up in the comments down below. That'll do it for today's episode of the Daily Huddle. Appreciate you making us a part of your day, however it is, wherever it is you're doing so. If you are watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you're getting all the great college football content we're pumping out here at Saturday Glory. If you're listening on the podcast feed, drop a 5-star review. It goes a long way in helping out the channel. I'll see you tomorrow for another episode of the Daily Huddle.